Welcome to Convergence with Karen Holton. This is episode 11 on People for People Radio. Find out how the personal is political as we explore the politics here on Earth, the exopolitics of our galaxy, and how these intersect with spiritual transformation through my unique perspective. Just to catch you up, in episode 8, I shared my latest version of the Quantum Health Transformation Program Step 9, where we learned more about the practical application of quantum physics, and we examined the benefits of doing light-shadow integration work. In episode 9, I shared my latest version of Quantum Health Transformation, Steps 8 and 7, which are the next two steps as we cover this material in reverse order. In episode 9, we covered several ways to self-soothe and integrate our male and female energies to give us more quantum balance in our lives. In episode 10, we covered Quantum Health Transformation Step 6, Detoxification, Parts 1 and 2. I gave you everything you need to know to safely detoxify your body so you can improve your health and achieve a new level of well-being. All of the information that I'm presenting here was received as part of a spiritual download, and I believe that the details are from the Living Library, also known as the Akashic Records, and is integrated with my personal life experience and training. If this is your first time joining us, I encourage you to check out the archives here on People for People Radio or my YouTube channel to find all of the episodes of Convergence. And thank you for joining me. I want to remind you that this system of quantum health transformation works well for me. However, you must synthesize this information and take only that which serves you. At the very least, it is my hope that you'll be stimulated to seek your own inner wisdom. Quantum Health Transformation Steps 9, 8, and 7 form the first tier of training in this free online lifestyle course. The information that I'm sharing today is the second tier of training, which is all about detoxification to improve health and to help you to achieve a new level of well-being. You may want to come back and listen to each episode again, as they contain a lot of information with some deeper concepts to consider. Now that you know how to stop poisoning yourself and you have all the information you need to detoxify your body, it is time to move on to Quantum Health Transformation Step 6, Part 3. Quantum Health Transformation Step 6, Detoxification Part 3, Emotional Detoxification and the Power of Emotions. Regardless of your emotional situation, things will change for the better physically and mentally once you get off sugar and the other toxic elements that are found in food-like products. You will notice the difference almost immediately. I highly recommend that you buy the PDF version of these lessons so that you will have the transcript, illustrations, and all of the links which are embedded for easy access. You can find all of my PDFs on my website under the Shop tab, and I am charging $3.99 Canadian for each one to help me cover my expenses. So getting on to food and detoxification and emotions, I gotta tell you, I used to be a carboholic while I was overweight. I found that withdrawing from sugar and processed wheat products was more difficult than quitting tobacco or alcohol. While I was consuming refined carbs, I had terrible mood swings, bouts of depression, and debilitating physical health issues. I couldn't concentrate or control my temper, and here's why. Sugars and refined carbohydrates affect the brain and the body the same way as cocaine. They both cause a short-lived intense high that is immediately followed by intense depression, edginess, and a craving for more. People who use these derivatives often don't eat or sleep properly. They can make people feel paranoid, angry, hostile, and anxious. Sugars, refined carbs, and some other food-like substances absolutely do affect your emotions, your feelings, and your health. So here are some of the effects that cocaine and sugar have in common. Increased heart rate, blood pressure, and body temperature, contracted blood vessels, increased rate of breathing, disturbed sleep patterns, a temporary increased sense of energy and alertness, an elevated mood, hyperstimulation and restlessness, sometimes bizarre, erratic, sometimes violent behavior, hyperexcitability, irritability, euphoria, nausea and upset stomach, depression, anxiety and paranoia, intense cravings, panic attacks, and psychosis. Deep in the brain, both sugars and cocaine interfere with the chemical messengers, which are called neurotransmitters, that nerves use to communicate with each other. They block norepinephrine, serotonin, dopamine, and other neurotransmitters from being reabsorbed. The resulting chemical buildup between nerves causes euphoria or feeling high. Eating high sugar foods lights up your brain on an MRI like a Christmas tree. Dr. Mark Hyman, MD, founder and medical director of Ultra Wellness Center, said during a recent interview on HuffPost Live. The part of the brain that lights up is the very same part of the brain that is triggered by cocaine or heroin, according to research by David Ludwig, MD, PhD. So a lot of people are addicted and don't even know it. So what are some of the signs where we could take a look at our patterns and our life and see if we might be addicted, or to question that? Do you crave sugar and carbs? Do you have trouble losing weight? Do you have high blood sugar or high blood pressure? Do you eat even when you're not hungry? Are you sluggish from overeating? Do you have embarrassed feelings about eating, binge in secret, or even hide food? Do you feel agitated, can't sleep, or suffer withdrawal symptoms if you don't eat junk food? Let's assume that you've taken Quantum Health Transformation Step 6, Parts 1 and 2 seriously, and you are actively detoxifying your inner and your outer selves. It's time to ask, what is emotional detoxification about? Emotions affect us physically. Positive emotions have a therapeutic effect on the body, which is why we call them good feelings, while negative emotions take energy away from the system and can cause brain stress, which is discharged into the body, causing undesirable feelings and sensations. When excessive brain stress is discharged into the physical body, it causes illness, pain, and suffering. Physical sensation provides our warning or guidance system, and we do well to listen to it. I did not listen to my body for many years and experienced much mental and physical illness, disease, and suffering as a result. I kept going to the doctor expecting a pill to cure my ills. How foolish I was. I had to deal with my addiction to food-like substances before I could make the emotional progress that I desired. So once we do that, then we can actually deal with our emotions on their own because they're not being influenced by something that we're eating or doing. Here's the simple alternative that I use in my life now, which illustrates the power of our emotions. Let me introduce you to Me, Myself, and I integration training, which I created in 2010. It involves 3 separate but integrated components. There's me, which refers to my body, my physical body, myself, which includes my mind, or what I perceive to be myself in a mental state, and I, which equals my subconscious soul. For illustration purposes, I have split the self into three components of body, mind, and subconscious mind to show you that there is an interplay. When we take me, which is my body, and myself, which is my mind, they produce my emotions and my physical feelings. And examples would include fear and joy. Myself, which is my mind, and I, which is my subconscious soul, equals my imagination and my desires. And examples include lucid dreaming or just drifting off into fantasy. I, which is my subconscious soul, and me, which is my physical body, make up my intuitive feelings. Examples include hunches and even precognition. Me plus myself equals my emotions. So, in my experience, I had to say shh to myself. Most people need training to pacify their minds so that their emotions can become calm. Only then can the mind receive healthful messages from the imagination and the intuition, which is our subconscious. There are many ways to calm the mind. Listen to masters like Eckhart Tolle, Mike Dooley, and Michael Beckwith. Listen to calming music. Practice prayer and meditation daily. And for some tips, you might want to go back to Quantum Health Transformation Step 8 and review that course material again. Spend time every day just being aware of what's going on inside your skin while you stop thinking about things. Become grateful for life and all the wonders that surround you. Myself plus I equals my imagination. When our imaginations and or our intuition spontaneously override the mind and affect our thoughts and feelings, we lose our calm and we become aware that we are out of balance. Our ego becomes distressed because it wants to be in control, and often we become what is too commonly considered mentally ill. And common examples of this are generalized anxiety disorder and panic attacks. This is actually a healthy warning system, there to remind us to become more aware and to put more balance into our chosen lifestyles. We need to become aware of our body sensations instead of thinking about people, places, and things so much. Strengthen the mind and imagination with affirmations and visualization techniques, and make a daily practice of meditation. I plus me equals my intuition. As soon as we are calm and feel internal sensations without thinking thoughts, integration spontaneously begins. This is why Qigong, Tai Chi, meditation, and yoga are such excellent avenues for healing. Our souls are linked to our subconscious selves, which hold vast amounts of data, and knowledge is power. Our own built-in intuition will guide us and let us know what to do. When we live consciously and mindfully, the messages flow into our awareness, and we know exactly what to do. Take advantage of this powerful inner resource. We are unique, complex combinations of genetic factors, life experiences, and wisdoms. Learn to trust yourself. So now we're going to talk about the interplay between real food and me, myself, and I. Healthful food and beverages with life force heal the body and the mind. And I'll be talking more about this in Quantum Health Transformation Step 5 later in this presentation. Meditation also heals the body and the mind. And again, you may want to reflect back on the information in Quantum Health Transformation Step 8. The soul, under all circumstances, remains intact, as we learn to understand and utilize this amazing personal built-in resource. We hold the power to achieve quantum well-being. Further, choose introspection over worthy. Choose introspection over worry. Introspection allows you to learn from the past by viewing it more objectively. Once we learn the lesson, we can let the memory go, along with its trapped negative energy. Become self-aware. Watch yourself as though you are an inside observer. Refrain from criticism. Keep a sense of humor. And learn to mind your own business. Believe me, it's enough to deal with. Do not be so interested in what other people are doing, saying, and thinking. You can't possibly understand it in objective detail anyway. And for more on that, I refer you back to Quantum Health Transformation Step 9. Believe in yourself and in your ability to succeed. The power to succeed in anything you wish for is inside of you. Focus on your sincere desires. Change them whenever you want. Affirm your requests daily to yourself or through prayer. Now move outside of your comfort zone. Take a step toward your goal and discover the awaiting adventure. Your initial small successes will build confidence and improve your self-esteem. A state of well-being means pleasure for the body. There is such pleasure in using the body that sustains us and moves us about in this great adventure called life. Energy is a gift that you give to yourself. Physical vitality lends to happiness and peace of mind. A state of well-being means happiness for the mind. Once your body experiences the pleasurable sensations that come with feeling better, you can begin to relax. The mind begins to accept pleasure in the forms of happiness, peacefulness, and joyfulness. The mind soon finds healthful ways to interpret experiences, and you begin to discover better coping techniques. And guess what? Life just gets better. A state of well-being means joy for the spirit. Once the body and mind are satisfied, the natural orientation of the soul becomes bliss. Our souls are attached to our unconscious selves, which hold vast amounts of data, and its communication device is our intuition. With a calm mind and comfortable body, all of our internal communication systems can function fully. Our natural, healthful orientation can now be experienced as more well-being. Daily practice of a detoxifying lifestyle will rapidly improve your state of well-being. And ask yourself, what are you going to do with all that feel-good energy? More about the power of emotions. Some new paradigm enthusiasts avoid facing negative emotions for fear that they will be pulled into a lower vibrational state. Some believe this will hinder their spiritual progress and the ability to manifest their desires. Realistically, though, it is not possible to be up and happy all of the time. This would interfere with the natural ebb and flow of all things. Life without contrast has no meaning. But avoid fear-based thinking from any source. Emotions and feelings come in layers and intensities, just like music. It's all energy. Sadness is not that far from joy. Anger and love are both passionate. Agony and ecstasy feel similar, and both can become states for physical and emotional addiction. The opposite of love is not hate, but apathy. Love is light. It can shine dim or bright, but it is still love. Total apathy, like total darkness, just doesn't exist. The vibrational state of music changes in octaves, and the same is true of emotion. No emotion is good or bad. They are states of feeling which are partly emotional and partly physical. Joy is an octave above sadness. When I feel joyful, I produce tears, and the overall body sensation is very much the same as when I feel sad. The difference is in the interpretation of the feeling and the thoughts associated with the emotion, which produces the vibrational state. Sometimes we occupy our awareness with strong emotion to keep us from facing our fears. When we face our fears, they disappear, and the strong emotion we once used to cover them dissipates into calm. When we stop censoring and suppressing our full range of emotion, we can use feelings as teachers and guides. Once we learn the lesson, we often return to a peaceful place, which I will call contentment. Conscious thoughtlessness and contentment go hand in hand. This leaves room for conscious living and much energy for manifesting that which we desire. Now, this is the healing power of emotion, something to think about. This concludes Quantum Health Transformation, Step 6, Part 3. Now you know how to stop toxifying yourself, and you found ways to detoxify your internal and external selves. You have also discovered the power within emotion, and now we will be able to move on to Quantum Health Transformation, Step 5, Green, Food as Medicine, and another source of universal love energy. So we'll start by looking at the body temple and the spirituality of food. The saying, "you are what you eat," is truer than some realize. Your body is an amazing machine, which is made up of components from the planet, solar system, and heavens beyond. Foods we eat are grown in the soil, where they absorb minerals and other things, which combine with the energy from the sun to form new elements. And when we consume them, this literally becomes us. Food was recognized as medicine for thousands of years in many cultures, old and new world. This concept was made popular in the post-classical ages by Hippocrates, who lived between 460 BC and 375 BC. And he is very famous for this quote, "Let thy food be thy medicine, and medicine be thy food." This concept is lost in the industrialized nations, who put more faith in the science of food-like products than in traditional eating and healing styles. Now things have come full circle, as we find out about the myriad of components in plants that heal and sustain us. Our bodies, the foods we eat, the planet, and the sun are truly intimately related. On a spiritual level, our bodies are temples, sustained in ways that surpass the physical elements that we can see or touch. Kirlian photography reveals the energetic quality of food, which is also present in our physical and etheric bodies. Local, organic, fresh, raw, live, and wild foods add an abundance of sun energy, as seen with Kirlian photography, to nourish and heal us in ways mostly unknown to modern society. Food as a rich source of spiritual energy makes all things possible because it expands our conception of reality and possibility. I suggest you do some research about Kirlian photography, spelled Kirlian photography, but do not use the Google search engine as it is heavily biased and censored. You may wish to try DuckDuckGo. You can also see the images in my online version of this course found on my website under the Free Resources tab and on my YouTube channel, Karen Holton TV. Now, whether you choose to stay within a religious paradigm or not, most of us are aware of our spiritual need. The mainstream socio-political economic construct leaves us feeling thirsty for something more. We are becoming aware of all the people who are awakening and evolving around us, and who seem to be able to find something satisfying from within. Yet many remain spiritually thirsty, while they keep signing up for courses and buying books written by those who have found their spiritual fountain. Is it that spirit is partial? Could some people be more worthy than others? I suggest not at all. In order to become enlightened or filled with spirit, we must prepare ourselves for this gift. Simply taking steps to nurture and care for our temple bodies will clear the channels for a rewarding spiritual experience. If you give an inch of effort, the universe will provide a mile in return. Universal, tender mercy is all around us, but we have to be willing to let it in. This usually means conquering our fears and stepping out into the unknown. In my experience, the fastest way to become connected with the overflowing inner fountain of unconditional love, wisdom, support, and the gift of co-creation is through real food and the tender, loving care that we express toward our temple bodies. Be prepared to make some sacrifices and to step outside of your comfort zone. If we are eating dead, lifeless foods, or worse yet, tortured animals and frankenfoods, which is what I call genetically modified GMO, we are mistreating ourselves and disrespecting the temple body, and shutting down the avenues for a truly satisfying reality. A reality that enhances this 3D earthly experience in ways that we never before dreamed possible. Feast on foods that are satisfying and serve as your ultimate medicine. Experience for yourselves how food is a wonderful source of universal love energy. Experience well-being and be prepared to be amazed. All of the food images featured in the Quantum Health Transformation Step 5 primer are of delicious and easy to prepare raw and unprocessed foods. Check out the details by viewing the Quantum Health Transformation Step 5 primer video from my website or YouTube channel. Now, I've noticed that quite a bit today. A lot of people are what they call virtue signaling and telling everyone that they are more spiritual because they are vegan or vegetarian. And I personally don't really agree with that. And I want you to be aware of what I call some of the vegan pitfalls. So, some vegans and vegetarians follow a balanced eating program, but others still cook the life force out of their foods, rely on processed health foods, protein derivatives, and vitamin pills. Many binge on sugars or sweeteners and refined or unrefined carbs, and more recently eat foods labeled, quote, gluten-free, which are really made from refined starches, the same thing as sugar once digested. Further, some vegans reason that since fresh food is cooked when it hits our stomach acid, they may as well cook it well before eating it. In this case, the life force escapes into the kitchen rather than within the temple body, where it is absorbed and fully utilized. And many vegans and vegetarians tend to look down on the meat eaters, which is a symptom of discontent and a lack of spiritual awareness in itself. Remember, whether we are herbivore or omnivore, we kill what we eat, and all plants and animals are innocent. Real food is sacred. I want to touch a little bit more on this herbivore versus omnivore, and I suggest that people follow their roots. I don't believe that meat is unethical or bad for you. Kirlian photography shows that humane sources of meat can be full of life force energy. Historically and currently, many cultures of people with pretty good health eat wild and free-range animals, and follow a diet based on what foods are available to them. Only when they start to eat a typical American diet does their health decline and they become sick and tired and discontented. If you take a person who is indigenous to the North Pole, who eats a lot of animal fat and protein, and you put them on a high fructose tropical diet, they will become very ill. Likewise, if you take someone who is indigenous to the equatorial regions and put them on a North Pole diet, they will get very sick. There is no one way to eat that satisfies every person. So let your own wisdom guide you. If your peoples of origin ate or eat meat, then assume that over the thousands of years of ancestral history, they have developed wisdom about food and health. If you are of mixed heritage like me, then I recommend resorting to an eating program that's based on your blood type. So, for example, we'll talk about my blood type, which is type O, and a relationship, how we can do that, and cruelty-free. My blood type is type O, and I feel at my best when I eat meat, fat, and protein with leafy greens and low glycemic vegetables, because my dominant ancestry is hunter-gatherer. I am also a conscientious objector when it comes to the animals that I will eat. I consider their quality of life very seriously, and whenever possible, I do not partake of protein sources that have been treated cruelly or without the deep respect they deserve as fellow beings. In industrialized nations, farm factories are a reality. Sometimes we can't afford or we can't find grass-fed and cruelty-free meat sources. Do your best to avoid participating in the horror, but when necessary, offer thanks and gratitude to the beast you are about to consume. Consider supplementing your diet with hulled hemp seeds, which give us the protein and the fat that we need. And more about that a little bit later in this presentation. Next, I would like to reflect on pH and blood hunger. Balancing our pH and eating for health is pretty much the same thing. Get some litmus paper and test your urine frequently. It should remain in the green zone for optimal health. Yellow or purple suggests an imbalance and are zones where fungus, disease, and pathogens reign. Consult the many pH food charts available on the internet and eat your way to an alkalized body system. Blood hunger is not related to empty stomach hunger. I used to eat until I was physically uncomfortable and still feel hungry. But once I fed myself pH balancing foods, the hunger signals were greatly reduced, and sometimes I actually have to remind myself to eat. Forget the calorie exercise paradigm. It is ridiculous to eat junk food, then exercise like crazy and expect healthy outcomes. I know. I dieted and I exercised myself up to 320 pounds. The more I starved and ate diet foods, the bigger I got. So, what are some of the benefits of organic, live, raw, wild foods? I'll admit that it was not easy to curb my carb addiction, but once I got that monkey off my back, real food tasted better than processed foods. Flavor is the combination of taste, texture, and aroma. I still have fun coming up with new ways to combine organic, live, raw, wild foods to form my recipe favorites. I love the real foods that I eat so much that I have no problem turning down the processed alternatives. Mainstream restaurants have no appeal to me, as I'm always disappointed with the flavor and the quality of the foods they serve, because I'm used to eating the best of the best. You may find that while readapting yourself to the taste of real food, you might notice that things taste a bit bland at first. This is because you do not have the elements yet that provide the enzymes in your saliva to break things down, releasing the flavor. These elements are found in the natural foods, so give it a couple of days to let your digestive juices recover and be prepared at how things start to become undescribably delicious. A stalk of celery becomes very sweet in the mouth, as does most other life-sustaining foods. By the way, you can make your own sweet treats from raw organic seeds, dried fruits, cacao nibs, and raw coconut oil with a dash of sea salt. Keep them in the fridge or freezer and eat this sweet and crunchy snack as part of your daily reward system. And yes, I do recommend that you plan for lots of daily rewards. Why? Because you deserve it, and it makes the day more fun. Now, if you like creamy, smooth textures, have a daily pudding made from homemade chocolate almond milk and chia seeds. In this way, you can improve your health with a yummy, great big chocolate pudding every day. And if you like colorful, crunchy, and juicy foods, make salads with fresh fruits, vegetables, seeds, and lots of dressing. I like to use raw olive oil and organic apple cider vinegar with some cayenne pepper and some herbs, and of course, sea salt. They look so festive and they taste so good. I love real food so much, and I love the way it makes me feel. As a result, my physical and mental health is better than ever. Increase your energy, think more clearly, and have more fun planning your life. A side effect of an improved diet is more spiritual well-being, which assists with co-creation and manifestation. Yes, really, really, it's true. So I want to just spend a few minutes talking about why you want to choose organic foods. Many people don't care about their food being not organic. Organic is definitely more expensive, and so more people reason why bother to pay that extra? Just peel everything and it will be okay. This opinion is based on negative propaganda and lack of knowledge. National and state organic certification rules do not allow genetically engineered or GE foods to be labeled organic. When you buy organic, you buy foods free of synthetic pesticides and also free of genetically engineered ingredients. Choose foods certified as non-GMO project verified. The Non-GMO Project is the only organization that I know of offering independent verification for GMO products in the US and Canada since 2014. The acronym GMO stands for Genetically Modified Organism, which refers to any food product that has been altered at the gene level. Genetically modified foods are also frequently described as genetically engineered, genetically altered, or genetically manipulated. I also recommend the Environmental Work Group's Shopper's Guide to Avoiding Genetically Engineered Food in order to find out which foods are made without GMO ingredients. By the way, foods containing GMOs do not have to declare this on the label. The four most commonly genetically modified ingredients in food are field corn and corn-derived ingredients, soybeans and soybean-derived ingredients, sugar, and vegetable oils. On the watch list are papaya, zucchini, summer squash, sweet corn, and Aqua Advantage salmon. Up for GMO approval are flax, potato, plums, radicchio, rice, tomato, and wheat, according to the FDA in 2014. For more information, look online. Now, personally, I do not trust anything that's been created without the creator. I will do everything in my power to eat non-GMO foods. Everything I need is already here, so why add something artificial? So, how do you tell if your fresh produce is GMO? Now, these instructions apply for North America. If you live in a country outside of North America, I highly recommend that you do some research on this subject. So, for those of us that live in North America, look at the numbers printed on the produce code, which is different from the barcode, and you can see the illustration within the PDF version of this lesson. If it is organic, there will be five digits displayed with the first number being number 9. So the 5 digits starting with number 9 mean that it's organic. If it is genetically modified or engineered, or GMO, and the producer is honest about this product, the first digit will be the number 8. All regular produce, not organic, will start with the number 4. However, since most producers hide the GMO factor and do not have to disclose this fact, all items with a product code starting with the number 4 are highly suspicious. And now I want to talk a little bit about chewing and environment. It seems like nobody talks about this, but it's really super important. Both are really important to well-being. Take time to really chew your food. Sometimes it's so delicious that we have a hard time to not swallow it before it's fully been liquefied. This is an important step in the digestion process, so follow this simple rule. Chew your juice and drink your food. What that means is that when you're drinking any kind of liquid nutrient, chew it. Chew it as though it had crunch to it so that you release the enzymes that help to break it down before it hits the stomach. And drink your food. What that means is any solid food that you're eating, you want to chew it until it's in a liquefied state and where you're actually drinking it or swallowing it. Also, prepare a nice, relaxing environment for yourself while you eat. Treat yourself like a beloved friend and set things up so you enjoy your surroundings and you're not in such a hurry. The eating experience is spiritual, it's sensual, and it's so enjoyable. Why not bring more enjoyment into your life? Love your food and let it love you back. Prepare your eating area with as much care as you would if someone special were joining you. You are worth it. Excuse me. And this really shows deep love and respect for your temple body and for yourself. So now I want to talk a bit more about raw hulled hemp seeds because they're classed as one of the most nutritious foods on the planet. Raw hulled hemp seeds are one of the most nutritious foods in the world because they are a rich source of phytonutrients. And phytonutrients are the healing elements that are found in plants, with benefits protecting your immunity, bloodstream, tissues, cells, skin, organs, and mitochondria. Hulled hemp seeds do not contain THC, which stands for tetrahydrocannabinol, the psychoactive substance in cannabis. This superfood provides a broad spectrum of health benefits, including weight loss, increased and sustained energy, rapid recovery from disease or injury, lowered cholesterol and blood pressure, reduced inflammation, improvement in circulation and immune system, as well as natural blood sugar control. Raw hulled hemp seeds offer a superior balance of proteins, essential fatty acids, vitamins, and enzymes, and is much more balanced and digestible than soy or whey products. This is a wonderful alternative to factory farm meats. Raw hemp seeds contain vitamin A, B1, B2, B6, C, D, and E, and included in that category of vitamin E is the alpha, beta, gamma, delta tocopherol, and alpha tocotrienol. Sorry, can't say that word. Lecithin, choline, and inositol, and chlorophyll. They contain essential minerals, phosphorus, potassium, magnesium, sulfur, calcium, iron, manganese, zinc, sodium, silicon, copper, platinum, boron, nickel, germanium, tin, iodine, chromium, silver, and lithium. Hemp seeds supply an abundance of life force energy and enzymes, and it's a great source of zinc, phosphorus, magnesium, and iron, important for bone health, oxygen delivery, and immune health. For detailed and well-researched information on the benefits of eating hemp seeds, read 2 articles by Lynn Osborne. Hemp seed, the most nutritionally complete food source in the world, Part 1, and Hemp seed oils and the flow of life force, Part 2. The links are below in the description box and are embedded into the PDF version of this lesson, which is available from my website. Hemp seed oil comprises 35% of the total seed weight, with more essential fatty acids than flax or any other nut or seed oil. Essential fatty acids, called EFAs, are necessary to produce life energy from food and move that energy throughout the body. EFAs govern growth, vitality, and state of mind, and carry the high energy required by the most active tissues and ensure very high oxygen availability. Life force travels through the body via the essential fatty acids and their derivatives. They are low in carbohydrates. Hemp seeds are ideal for those following the paleo or keto diet or who are just carb conscious for their health. Another thing I want to touch on today is juicing. A lot of people feel the fastest route to improving your health is through juicing, and even if it's celery or whatever. Well, I have a few things to say about my personal experiences with juicing. There's no doubt that for some, juicing can be a fast and effective way to lose weight and improve the health. But for those that have diabetes type 1 or 2, insulin resistance, or are pre-diabetic, juicing may not be our best option. I have insulin resistance, and I found that juicing definitely exacerbated the condition. Because any juice, like I said, even celery juice, contains a lot of natural sugars. This is why I highly recommend smoothies made with hulled hemp seeds with fresh fruits and vegetables. The protein and fiber slow down digestion and they do not trigger metabolic conditions. And of course, I have something to say about seeds and nuts. I have found great success substituting nuts and seeds for carbs, including beans, and I've converted my body to run on healthful fats and oils instead. This slower burning system satisfies hunger and really provides tons of energy. Also, if you soak your nuts and seeds, the enzyme inhibitors are removed and the spark of life is initiated, greatly increasing the life force and nutritional quality in them. Now, as if any of you have had gardens, you know that you need to soak your seeds till they start to sprout, and then you plant them and they grow into a plant. But before that, they just sit in the sack and they don't do anything. Why would that be? It's because they're covered in these enzyme inhibitors that have to be soaked off. And what that does is it literally reignites the spark of life so they can grow into something. So you're really getting so much more nutrition out of your nuts and seeds if you sprout them first, or even just soak them. I simply put them in a mason jar with filtered water and I leave them in the fridge overnight. In the morning, I shuck off their skins and I give them a rinse, and then I dry them back out, and then I can add them to smoothies or blend them up to make my own non-dairy milks if I want to. They taste better too after they've been soaked, way better. And I also want to say a word about preservatives. All processed foods contain preservatives. This allows foods to be stored for up to 25 years. This food is always toxic, which is why rats, insects, and other pests just don't eat it. Even a small bug knows that it will die if it eats the processed foods. Further, the preservatives in processed foods will prevent any real food that you eat from breaking down in the digestive tract, and then you can't digest and absorb nutrients. Even if you only eat processed or junk foods once a week, it stays in your digestive system for much longer. Why? Because it can't be digested. This has a detrimental effect on the gut biome, and the body never gets a chance to digest the real food properly. You can eat healthy all week, but as soon as you gulp down a fast food snack, you no longer absorb the nutrition you need for health and for sanity. Obviously, switching over from a North American diet to a natural one takes time and effort. Be patient with yourself. It takes time to detoxify and rebuild yourself. So, complete healing and restoration, it takes many years. This is not something you're going to achieve in a month or a week or even in a year. And each level follows a 7-year cycle. So once you've corrected your eating, the first 7-year cycle, the physical body is completely rebuilt. Every single cell in your body has disposed of the old cell system that was made up of chemicals and GMO and God forbid whatever. That's all gone. And now you have absolutely brand new cells in every part of your body that are working and providing you with exceptional health. But it takes 7 years to do that. And then the second 7-year cycle is an emotional cleanse. All your stuff comes up, all your emotional stuff, and you got to deal with it all one by one. I know nobody wants to hear this kind of news, but I got to tell you the truth, guys. And I got to tell you, there are a lot of us who have done the process, and it's really, really worth it. And the third 7-year cycle is when we further understand our role in life, why we are here. What were we meant to do? What did we sign up for? That all comes out in the third year. So that's 21 years. That's a big chunk of your life just to get back on track. But, you do start to enjoy the benefits. Definitely once you get off the fake stuff that's just sold everywhere, you're definitely going to feel a lot better. So, in conclusion, consider growing some of your own food as houseplants. Consider having a patio garden and take advantage of wild foods free from a vacant lot near you. Watch my video on how to identify edible wild plants. The link is below. YouTube has many videos available to show you how to identify and prepare edible wild plants. And there's a spoiler alert. The most nutritious foods in the world are not available at the supermarket. It breaks my heart to see all these people lined up at the food bank getting the crappiest food. I mean, crappy food, because all the good stuff is generally taken by the people that run the programs. I hate to tell you this. I know I was a recipient of the food bank for many years, being a single mom, and I tried to make ends meet for myself and my children. And it just breaks my heart to see them lined up for the crappy food and the macaroni and cheese and the canned soup. Meanwhile, there's all these vacant lots everywhere, overflowing with the most nutritious foods in the world, medicines, everything we need. And so we need to recapture that knowledge. We need to find out about it and reintroduce that back into our culture. So please honor your temple body. Feed and nurture it to find good health, peace of mind, and much love. I also recommend that you watch my instructional video called Do-It-Yourself Medicinals with Karen Holton, and the link will be below this video on my YouTube channel, which is Karen Holton TV. So I would like to encourage you to feel free to contact me for more information and for assistance with your detoxification program. My services are found under the Shop tab on my website. Again, I highly recommend you buy the PDF version of these lessons so that you will have the transcript, the illustrations, and all of the links which are embedded for easy access. And you will find all of my PDFs on my website under the Shop tab. And again, they're only $3.99 Canadian. Now, that's about $2.60 American, so it's not much. It's just a few coins, but it helps me. This online course is free. And if you would like to help support my work, please purchase some of my beautiful Zendomes organites. Due to the pandemic, we're having difficulty sourcing supplies, and so we're unable to make more orgone generators at this time, but there's still quite a few that you can choose from. Now, I'm going to switch gears here and do something a little different. Some of you may be aware that I have had 12 articles published in Sybil magazine. It's called Sybil Magazine for the Spirit and Soul of Woman, March 2016. But this information is good for everybody, no matter what your gender. So I'm just going to read a couple of short articles in closing. So the first one is called Food Saved My Life. And again, it was in the March 2016 edition, and you can find it on my website. I dieted my way to morbid obesity. Weighing in at 320 pounds, I felt terrible physically, mentally, and spiritually. I was always on a diet, fad diets, Weight Watchers, tops, but every time I lost weight, I gained it all back and more. How ironic that when I finally learned to eat more real food, I lost 178 pounds permanently, and I believe this saved my life. While I was losing weight permanently, I found out that I could generate as much energy as I needed by freeing myself from chemical resistance. Lifelong accumulations of toxins, heavy metals, and other mostly man-made chemicals corroded my spiritual connections, so my energy was not conducted or utilized adequately. When this happens, our chakras cannot flow and they don't pool our energy efficiently or abundantly. Detoxifying my body was a challenge at first. I felt like I was cleaning house for a hoarder. Eventually, as I passed through the worst of it, I was able to maintain a state of well-being with a simple daily routine and healthy lifestyle. I have a good appetite, and I'm very grateful that real food is my friend, and I no longer need to limit the amounts that I eat. My physical, mental, and social success is rooted in my becoming aware of the true nature of food. I found out that fresh, live, raw, organic, and wild foods contain nutrients like vitamins, minerals, and enzymes, and vital moisture, which contains other essential microscopic elements like microminerals, crystals, gases, and lipids. Raw organic foods contain fiber, which is essential for detoxification and elimination. Pigments, which are medicinal compounds, and life energy from the sun in specific wavelengths depending on the color of your food. And nutrients for my gut flora, which are essential for emotional stability. Let's not forget flavor and texture, which makes eating very pleasurable, and the fact that real foods alkalize the body, making it disease resistant. Another bonus. I also discovered there are good reasons to eat a variety of organic and wild, non-irradiated herbs and spices. The natural preservatives found in herbs, spices, salts, and teas will prolong life and keep us well. They guard against parasites, bacteria, and viruses because they become systemic prophylactic medicines when eaten. I learned to enjoy a wide variety of organic ethnic foods from around the world and a variety of salts like Mediterranean, Celtic, or Himalayan, which provide the microcomponents needed to repair my DNA. When I started eating mostly live, raw, organic, and wild foods, I found that my health and awareness rapidly improved. People started to notice that my confidence soared. Shake your food style up a bit and join me in the adventure. The spin-off is better health, a clearer mind, and a happier spirit. By eating my way to better health, I have kept the 178 excess pounds off for over 10 years, and I'm so enjoying my body now. I believe that food saved my life. That's the end of the article. And I'm going to just read one more short article, which appears again in Sybil magazine and is in the November 2016 edition. Energizing My Temple by Karen Holton. Well-being eluded me until I learned to energize my temple. My body is a sacred gift given to me to serve as much more than an environmental suit. There is so much potential for spiritual growth through appreciating the wisdom within our physical bodies. Since we are what we eat, let's look at my discoveries about food as sacred technology and how this can improve our spiritual lives. Food is not entertainment. Living food is the most powerful and sacred way to infuse us with life force energy. When we are noble about our food choices, sacred energy is passed from one form to another. Our energies combine and the living sacred food adapts to us and compensates for what we need. This is why I decorate my living area with healthy, attractive live foods. I arrange fruit and veggie bowls, which keep the food at room temperature and add so much beauty to my home. Every time I glance at them, I feel happy, and this transmits happy energy and appreciation to my food, quote, friends. Real food is alive. The flesh and the skin of fruits and vegetables are their external womb, which remains energetically connected to the original plants. This is why fresh, local food is so important. In addition, foods that come from trees like apples and almonds also act as powerful medicines because they carry the energy from the whole tree. These ties weaken or are severed when food travels long distances to our table. Edible plants and free-range animals have three primary purposes: to reproduce, to bring harmony to the ecosystem, and to serve as food. Only non-GMO, chemical-free foods can do this because they are sacred. This offering of life is not to be squandered by processing it into something recreational. Food sources are delighted to offer themselves for the spiritual work of new paradigm living. When we are holistically healing ourselves, we are living in harmony with the plants and the animals. This is why all humanely raised, nutrient-dense foods are guilt-free. They are good for us, and when we consume them, we do no deliberate harm. We crave that which we need, which is not the same as addiction. When we crave a specific food, we need something within it. When we've had enough, we crave something else. Just like when we're thirsty, we are unmistakably attracted to what we need. How can these healthful foods improve our spiritual lives? When we eat a biologically appropriate diet and learn to rest and digest, our physical, mental, and spiritual health improves. When we combine this with adequate sleep, we heal, digest, assimilate, and this gives us a chance to recharge our energetic systems. Learn to energize your temple. Whether you are vegan, vegetarian, keto, paleo, or just a healthy eater, your body is a gift, and food is literally sacred technology waiting to be utilized. And that's the end of the article. To read more of my published articles as they appeared in Sybil magazine 2016, click the free resources tab on my website. If you want to help create the change you wish to see in the world, or make contact with ET, or participate in the intergalactic resettlement program, take exquisite care of the temple body. Raise your vibrational frequency and learn from the Quantum Health Transformation Program. Let me know if you have any questions about this or the Intergalactic Resettlement Program, and I will do my best to answer them on the next show. You can email me at forbiddentransformation@gmail.com. Join me and bring your friends as we go live at 1 p.m. Mountain Time every Tuesday here on People for People Radio. You can find People to People Radio at www.peopleforpeople.ning.com. And I just want to give a special shout out to Gaz and Vanessa for hosting me and moderating for me on People for People Radio. And much love and light to you, the viewers. Thank you for sharing this time with me.